Hey everybody, my name is Gail. Thank you for joining my channel. Sorry for the delay in the videos, but I promise I have been sticking with the plan. I am on the carb solution plan. If you're new to my channel, I am doing this way of eating to get some weight off. I have been doing this now. I am officially in my 10th week. So 9 weeks of weigh-in has heated me a loss of 19.6 pounds. So almost 20 pounds in 9 weeks. That's about 2 pounds a week. So I just wanted to give you guys an update so you'll know where I'm at. I'm hungry. I'm about to cook a meal. I pre-recorded this intro with my GoPro. So a lot of this is shot with the GoPro. This one's with my phone. It was way too shaky and it was making me nauseous. So I'm trying to spare you guys that as well. But that is my weight loss update. I'm super excited about it. So now I'm going to make a meal and kind of just show you kind of one of the favorite things I like to make. And everything I use is just kind of a hodgepodge and a mismatch of different things that I just happen to have available. It's not a specific recipe. Just want to state that. All right, so let's get to the video. So I hope you enjoy it. Today I'm going to make my favorite. I have a couple of favorite things I like to make, and this is one of them, and it's a soup, but it's a very thick soup. It's going to have either, I'll use a grain. It's usually either white or brown rice, or it's barley, anything kind of a rice texture. And then I put a bunch of vegetables in it. So I start with some water and I add some better than bouillon to where it's a little salty, but not too salty. And then I go to town throwing a bunch of vegetables in there. And I start with the vegetables that are the thickest, I guess, that take the longest to cook. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do. It's always so good. And it makes a lot. So because I make a lot, and I just have frozen vegetables I throw in there. Anything fresh I have, I'll throw in there as well. So yeah, stay tuned and kind of see what I have. I'm starting with 4 cups of water, and for flavor, I'm adding better than bouillon, which is a vegetable-based broth. This is a large tablespoon. I will be adding more water to it to dilute it, so it won't be as salty. This is extra salty on its own. I have some onions here that I've pre-chopped and froze. So I'm just throwing most of that bag in here and going to let it get started. And now just got the heat on high for boiling. And then I'm adding some minced garlic, as you can see here. Just a large tablespoon, just whatever you like. I'm going to be adding a lot of vegetables to this, so it's not going to be as dense. While the water's heating up, I've pulled some vegetables out of my refrigerator. I'm starting with this cauliflower. It's left over that I had from a head that I've used before. So I'm just going to cut the stem off of it. And then what I like to do is break off the pieces like you see me doing here. If I use a knife, I get a whole lot more of those crumbles, and I really prefer it to be chunks like this. So my celery is going bad. It's kind of limp, but that's okay. So I'm taking 3 stalks here, and I'm just going to cut the tops and the bottoms. I do use like this extra that I cut off for the for vegetable stock that I make later. Now that I've washed these, I just split them down the center on each one of these. So when I do cut them, the pieces are small rather than large. Makes it easier to eat. And now I just group them together and just start chopping them all the way to the end. Next up is cabbage. Normally I don't put cabbage in here, but I did have, as you can see, about half a head left over from something I made before. When you're doing a meal like this vegetable soup, it's a good, it's great for just throwing just about any vegetable in there. To me, it doesn't matter what I put in it. It always tastes pretty good. Just make sure you get the seasoning the way that you like it, because that's what makes the most difference. So I washed about 5 small russet potatoes. I'm going to put these in there because it adds the thick density to it without adding a lot of calories. I didn't bother peeling the potatoes. I think the skin has more nutrients in it. It didn't change the flavor for me. If you prefer to peel your potatoes first, then you can do so. So I'm just cutting these up into bite-sized pieces. This soup is about timing with the vegetables, so you have to kind of know which ones take longer to cook than others. In this case, I think the potatoes that I'm putting in is the one that's going to need the most time to cook in order to be ready at the same time. So sometimes you could put these in and have them in too long and then you get too mushy, or you end up putting them in and not having them cooked by the time everything else is ready. So keep in mind and think about what you're going to put in first, and those that cook faster put in closer to the end of the meal. As you can see, this is boiling pretty good now, so I'm just going to add my potatoes so they can get started on cooking. I just added a couple of cups of water because I definitely will be adding more vegetables. Here's where you can add whatever you want for seasoning. Besides the bouillon, I added pepper. I'm also throwing in some coriander. I'm not putting garlic powder because I already put garlic in there. And I'm not doing onion powder because I put onions in there. And now I'm putting curry powder. This is just flavors that I really like. So just know that for you, when you're making this, just be as creative as you want. And if something doesn't taste quite right, then just change it up a little bit the next time. So I just give this a stir, and that's all the seasoning besides a little bit more bouillon that I'm actually going to add to this meal. Ooh, it sure is boiling now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the cauliflower now because that is the most dense besides the potatoes I put in earlier. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the celery so it can start being cooked. Once again, I'm just going to give it a quick stir so it can all incorporate together. I plucked 5 green beans from my garden. That's all I had there, so why not use them in my soup, right? Now everything's cooking down, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding the cabbage. The cabbage will cook pretty fast, so it's one of the things I decided to put in there towards the end of this meal. As I'm stirring this, I'm seeing that the potatoes are a little softer than they should be. Same for the cauliflower, so maybe I either cooked it too high or cooked it too long. I'm going to add these mixed vegetables. They're frozen to this batch. Normally I don't have this much cabbage, and this is what adds the bulk to the soup, but why not? Just going to add it, the more the merrier, and this will be extra food that I'll have for lunches and dinners in the future. I'm just going to add a smaller bit of the Better Than bouillon. I did taste it, and it's super mild at this point, so that's like 6 cups of water and about a large tablespoon and a half maybe. So I'm just going to kind of mix that in there and stir it up a little bit more and give it some time to rest within all those vegetables. If you're wondering what that is Miracle Noodles. I bought it from Walmart. They really have, I don't think they have any nutritional value, but that being said, they don't have carbs, fat, or calories pretty much. So anyway, I bought a bunch of these and I'm going to go through them, and my rice that I had been frozen and it wasn't quite ready yet anyway. I'm just scooping, as you can see, the soup on top of it. This is what it looks like. You can add other color if you want to this. You can add some green onions. If you like the red, yellow, and orange bell peppers, you can add that too. So that meal made quite a bit, as you saw. I'm just going to portion those out, save some for some lunches and dinners, and freeze them so I can have them for later. Super easy, super filling. I actually went back for a little bit more because I liked it that much. Don't forget, add whatever seasonings you want, because the spices, it's what's going to truly make the meal taste good or better than you've had before. And it's okay to experiment with us. Thanks for watching this. I will see you in my next video. Comment if you have any questions for me. I'd be happy to answer them. If you aren't subscribed and want to, you can click the red subscribe button below, or I'll put a link here. And I'm also going to put a link here for videos that show meals that I've cooked in the past related to this way of eating. I thank you for watching and joining my journey, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.